Hi, I'm Judith Leblein, and welcome to Conversations. Today's conversation is about women, young women in particular, and their role in society and Girl Scouting. Is it still relevant? With me is Dianne Fairbanks. She is the Executive Director and CEO of Girl Scouts of Delaware Raritan. Welcome, Dianne.
Thanks, Judith. It's great to be here.
Tell me about Girl Scouting as you wear your beautiful uniform. Is it still popular in America? A lot of people perhaps have fallen out of sight with the Girl Scouts.
Well, I believe it is. It's been growing significantly over the past 8 to 10 years, and I think that's a sign that we are still a very relevant organization. Girls today want to be in a group of other girls having opportunities to do things that they might not get in school or in their other, sports and music activities. So the Girl Scouts has offered that for 90 years. This is our 90th anniversary coming up in March. And the program is still very relevant, or else the girls wouldn't be part of it.
Well, when you hear about a 90-year history, and for so long, so many of the traditions or the programming of Girl Scouting was about home and hearth and the like, and God knows, we've come a long way, baby. How has Girl Scouting changed to keep abreast of the interests of girls today?
Well, the activities that girls do today are very different than what you and I did when we were Girl Scouts, when we were girls.
Or had a chance to do.
Right, and those are really adapted to what the girls are interested in. We have programs on space and aeronautics that we never had even since the 1990s. Those are fairly new. And girls get opportunities to work with computers and work with computer engineers and shadow some, very well-educated and individual adults who are willing to share their time and kind of mentor a girl through whatever her interest might be. The organization's values and the principles and the tradition of the organization hasn't changed. We still have pretty much the same promise and law that we've had from the beginning, but the activities have to change in order for it to be interesting and acceptable for girls these days.
Well, I've pulled out my sash, and it's shameful when I see young Girl Scouts today with sashes and vests, because the sashes can't hold the amount of pins and badges that they've achieved. I'm shocked by the diversity of the programming.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities, and it's only limited by, the girl's enthusiasm, and her interest can take her lots of different directions. So that's what the badges and the patches indicate, how much she's actually participated in. And many of the girls do it together with their troops, so that it's their friends and their leaders accompanying them, and others do it on an individual basis, depending upon where their interest takes them. So.
Is there room for men in the Girl Scouting organization?
Oh, absolutely. As long as they're over 18, we love having men, and we have a lot of fathers who are involved, and they may be troop leaders along with a woman. That's the only requirement that we have, so that protects both the men and the girls. And we have a lot of interest on the part of dads to see that their girls have a good experience.
Well, I'm sure that you've heard this before. This has been a big part of your life and your work, but Girl Scouts just aren't cookies anymore.
No, absolutely not, and nor are we just camping anymore. We have programs in the inner cities. We have programs that focus on different careers. We have opportunities for girls to travel around the country and internationally on what we call wider opportunities, and that's for the older girls who are junior high school age, 7th grade and older.
Showing them that there's more to life outside of their community or outside of their city.
And very often it's the first opportunity a girl's had to travel on her own. And they apply for these opportunities. And that's a very extensive process, very much like college applications, where they have to write an essay and talk about why they want to attend and what their experience and background is that would prepare them for it.
Now, as executive director and CEO, I would imagine one of your biggest challenges is paying the bills.
That's always a challenge, and you know, we continually need to raise more money. As we're increasing the number of girls that we serve, we have over 12,000 girls and over 5,000 adults. In terms of the services that we want to provide so that the girls can have these opportunities, it gets harder and harder to do. And of course, we have the cookie sale, which everybody knows and hopefully loves.
And all the diet doctors hate.
But you know, that it's a limited time of year that you can buy Girl Scout cookies, and so folks really have responded to that over the years. But we need to raise funds through other means, and you know, we run special events, we do you know, some annual appeal activities, and we're trying to...
Well, you know, the sale of cookies can equate quite readily to business and sales and presenting yourself, and some of these girls are ruthless little saleswomen.
Well, they get a lot of experience, and exactly as you say, they have to learn how to serve a customer, to, you know, to fulfill an order that the customer's placed and make sure that it gets there on time and it's in good condition, as well as setting a goal for themselves and their troop as to how much they want to sell and what they're going to do with the money that they earn from the sales. So there's a lot of programmatic basis for the cookie sale.
Now, you mentioned earlier mentoring, and I would imagine that this, if you really cut away the programming and cut away the cookie sales and the uniforms, what really remains is women mentoring young women. Why is that so important today, Dianne?
Well, I think it's always been important. And one of the things which statistically we've been able to measure is the impact on a girl's life of her Girl Scout leader. Many girls have said over the years that other than her own family and her teachers in school, her Girl Scout leader was the most significant person in her life. It was somebody, a caring adult who she could talk to if she needed you know, an ear. And the mentoring relationship has never really been called that until recently, but it's definitely been there for girls and the adults that work with them. And now we're trying to even expand that further with mentoring relationships that are set up with women who don't have the time to be a Girl Scout leader, but are interested enough to spend some time with a girl and kind of, you know, walk her through her process of deciding on her future and how they might be helpful and supportive along the way.
Well, that address one of the biggest programs of the year that reaches out to the community outside of Scouts is the annual Women of Distinction Awards. And tell us a little bit in general about the Women of Distinction Awards. It's really a mentoring program.
Well, yes. What we do is we select women through nominations that come in from the general public who will be honored. And the women then are matched with girls that we select. And we have one girl for each of the women that's selected. And our girls of distinction are just that. They're usually older girls who are either junior high or high school age, who have achieved or distinguished themselves in some way so that they're also nominated and selected on that basis. And what we try to do is match a girl with an interest to a woman who has, you know, that experience and in that field, and then that mentoring relationship just goes from there. We don't, you know, we don't mandate anything. They just seem to naturally spend time together and keep in touch.
Well, I've had the pleasure of being involved in that program, and the company that you keep among that group is just really extremely gratifying. And meeting the young women, as we are going to do today on Conversations, is amazing.
Right.
What they've been able to accomplish. Let me just ask you, has there been any definitive studies that Girl Scouting has really had a quantifiable change in people's lives? What comes to mind?
Well, there's many different stories, and as the 90th anniversary is just beginning to be launched, we're going to hear more and more of that. But a year ago, a book was published called 9 and Counting, and it was actually the stories of youth of all of the women senators and members of the House of Representatives at the time who had been Girl Scouts. And coincidentally, there was only 9 women in those roles. And this book kind of is an inspiration to anyone who might see, you know, different backgrounds. And some were in, you know, different economic situations from the others, and others were in, you know, a situation where they traveled a great deal when they were young, and their parents were in the military. And the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts have also been very, they've had a long-standing relationship, and the link has been very strong, so that Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts were where they were always stationed. So there was a lot of individual stories of those successful women, and I think that's probably one of the most visible places that we could say women have succeeded over the past few years.
So I would have to venture a guess that you support the studies that say that young women tend to thrive when working together in a group, sometimes without outside influences of young men also involved in the programming.
Yeah, there seems to be a different sort of experience for girls in without the boys involved, and the kind of competitive environment that exists in a classroom isn't necessarily there in a Girl Scout troop. So the girl gets a chance to flourish a little bit more. And Girl Scouting is not necessarily a competitive environment, although the girls do like to compete with their badges and things that they have achieved. There has been a long-standing focus on, you know, the girls who are not necessarily the ones chosen for the teams or the debate group or the you know, valedictorian, and so these girls get their opportunity to shine a little bit more.
Well, we're going to learn more about Girl Scouting in just a few minutes on Conversations. But I have to close by saying it took me 35 years, but you finally awarded me my public speaking badge last year, and my family is just oh so grateful.
Well, we're glad that you can finally have it.
All those years of talking, and I finally earned my badge. Dianne Fairbanks, thanks so much.
Thanks, Judith.
Hi, I'm with Sweta Patel, who is to be an inductee in the Girl Scouts of Distinction. It's the 11th annual event recognizing Girl Scouts for their accomplishments and teaming them up with a mentor, one of 10 women of distinction. Welcome, Sweta.
Thank you.
Is this your first time on television?
Yes.
Okay, another opportunity that Girl Scouts has brought along. Well, you and I have a lot in common because I'm from the 2000 class of Women of Distinction.
Oh, really?
I'm very honored to say that. And I'm chairman of the alumni group. Oh. And you are going to have just a wonderful year. I just know you will. But the other thing in common is you live right here in East Brunswick where we produce the show.
Yes, I do.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 10th grade. I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, a high school girl, very active still in Girl Scouting.
Yes.
How long have you been involved?
This is going to be my 10th year.
10 years. And it's still exciting to you? You still look forward to it?
Yeah, I love it. It's tons of fun.
Now, I bet sometimes you get some critique from other girlfriends who maybe haven't been involved with Girl Scouting, and they see you with your uniform, or they hear you say, no, I have to go to my troop meeting, or I have to go to an event. What kind of feedback do you get?
Well, they're supportive. They don't really mind. I just tell them that I really enjoy working with the girls. I'm a junior leader, so I get to do badges with them, and it's just the environment that I really like. So they respect that.
Well, when you first became a scout, what drew you there, other than your parents saying, would you like to do it? I mean, what made you want to be a scout?
Well, actually, my cousin, she was a brownie, and she used to always tell me how fun it was and how she liked it a lot. So my mom joined me in. So.
Now, you're wearing your uniform today, and you just told me that these are new.
Yeah,
a whole new look.
Yeah, they actually changed the colors this year. For the seniors, they changed it from blue to khaki colored. So these are the new uniforms.
What would you say to people that say, oh, that's such a traditional, old-time organization, you know, what could be so exciting? What do you just sell cookies and bake and go in the woods and sleep in a tent? So what do you say to people like that?
Well, Girl Scouts has changed. And I like how there's a lot of opportunities for girls. There's different, all these different kinds of badges that they have. There's any badge that you would possibly want. Like if you're interested in sports, there could be sports badges, there's sewing badges, there's lots of varieties. So it's not all old traditions, it's whatever you want to do.
Have you sometimes used a badge to feel something out and see if you like it?
Actually, I took a sewing class recently, last year, and I just realized this year that they actually have a sewing badge. They have a new sewing badge. So I've learned a lot, and I'm excited because I know a lot of things that I would have not known before. So
Now, out of all the girls involved in scouting right now, how did you wind up being one of 10 chosen for this year's award?
I have no clue. I don't know.
I think you know. You've been involved in an awful lot of things. First of all, it was a surprise to you?
Yeah, actually it was. My cousin had actually been a Girl Scout of Distinction 2 years ago, and she was just telling me how exciting it is and how you do so many new things, and so that was great.
So you've been able to be involved in the community through your Girl Scouting. What are some of the things you've done?
Actually, for my Silver Award, what we did was we held an adoption day at PetSmart, and what we did was me and my friend, we both did it together, and we decided we wanted to do adoption day for cats and animals. So what we decided, there are a lot of animals that are out on the streets, don't have homes, so we held one at PetSmart with the help of Animal Rescue Force. So there are other great opportunities that you get together.
What kind of hopes do you have for your future, and how do you see that Girl Scouts will help you?
Well, I know Girl Scouts will have a major part in my life. Like for college, I can always go back and know that because of their support and because they've always helped me out, I will always be independent and stronger in college.
So you're not afraid of that challenge?
No.
Because of scouting?
Yeah.
Now, so far for the Women of Distinction event, there's been a press breakfast.
Yes.
And you've met the woman of distinction who will be your mentor for this next year, and we're going to meet her just shortly, Melanie Willoüghby. Tell me about the process so far. What was it like?
It was very exciting. I was very excited to meet her because I learned that she was an alumni of Rutgers, and I'm planning on going to Rutgers, so that was really exciting. I was going through all the things that she'd done, and it just encouraged me and inspired me to do even more. So.
And to see what you can accomplish someday just as she has, because she's local too, came right up through the ranks just like you. Favorite thing about scouting?
The environment.
Tell me.
I love working with little girls, and the way that our troop works is the older girls get to be leaders with the younger girls, so we get an experience to teach and to work with them. So I love the environment.
You know, it's such a busy world. In a highly competitive high school like East Brunswick, I'm sure you have a lot of studies. You have events with your family and obligations. How do you find time, and why bother with scouting when you have all these other things to do?
Because you know it's going to help you in the long run. It's a great experience. It doesn't take much time or effort, so you don't have much problems with that. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
There's a lot of tradition in Girl Scouting. An oath, songs, different parts of the history of scouting. Why would you think tradition is important in this modern day?
To teach girls that you can always look back and enjoy, like, it's all enjoying. Like, you can come, and I don't know, like, it's important. Traditions are important. Yeah.
Look back where you've been and look forward.
See how everything is growing.
Well, I can see why you've been selected as one of the Girl Scouts of Distinction, and our congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to hearing more about you.
Thank you.
Thanks. The third part of our conversation today is with Melanie Willoüghby. Melanie is the president of the New Jersey Retail Merchants Association. But more than that, for our discussion purposes today, the new inductee of the Women of Distinction from the Girl Scouts of Delaware Raritan. Congratulations on the award.
Oh, thank you so much. It's indeed a great honor and privilege.
Well, you started out as a Girl Scout.
Yes, I did. I was a Brownie and went right up through seniors and then became a Brownie leader. Loved working as a Brownie leader especially.
Oh, I bet. All those little ones.
Yes, and we did a lot of things I learned all through Girl Scouts when I was a Brownie leader to help the little girls and mentoring them.
What kinds of feelings did you have when you were asked to be not only one of the members of the Women of Distinction, but also a mentor to a Girl Scout of Distinction?
Well, it was really just such a privilege for me to be asked, especially from an organization that I think so highly of, because I realized how much it did for me in helping me to learn about teamwork and working together with other people in really being able to accomplish a common goal. And I really learned how to be a leader in Girl Scouts. And I think that's so important for the girls today. And I'd really like to be able to work with a Girl Scout that I've been assigned to mentor, to be able to pass on a lot of the things I learned and a lot of the things I use on a daily basis now that I got from Girl Scouting.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your day. You've been involved in many areas of leadership. In particular, we've talked a bit about New Jersey Retail Merchants Association. Tell us about your role there.
Well, I'm the president of the association, which means that, in essence, I'm the chief cook bottle washer of an organization that represents the entire retail industry in the state. And so I lobby and represent them in Trenton and Washington, D.C., and we also provide them with cost-saving benefits so that they can cut operational costs because, you know, retailing is a very low profit margin business, but they're the second largest employer in the state, so they have a very big impact on this state's economy and hire a lot of people. So I really enjoy representing them.
Tell me about the retail world and the leadership role of women in the retail world.
Well, women are the biggest shoppers, and so retailers are obviously responding to women, but also women play big leadership roles in running retail stores. Certainly they recognize how a retailer has to position themselves in order to be attractive to the woman shopper, and they play a very big role.
Throughout your career, have you found it helpful to network with other women, and do you find other women open to that?
Well, I started out in lobbying and government affairs at a time when there were very few women. And so my mentors at the time were men. But I recognized that if I didn't have those mentors, that I really would not have achieved as much as I did. But if I had had a woman mentor, how much more I would have learned because of the fact that women's styles are a little different, that some of the situations that you're confronted with as a woman, you need to handle a little differently, and it would have meant a tremendous amount to me. And I've wanted to be a mentor for women along the way, and that's actually one of the roles I see myself playing, a very big role in doing that, and women who want to get into politics, government, and retailing.
Well, I read some recent statistics mentioning government about our Congress and our Senate, and the numbers are not very good. Any thoughts about that?
Well, actually, I do, because of the fact that women are usually at a disadvantage because they still are traditionally the caretaker for the children at an age when a lot of men are getting into developing their careers and developing the opportunity to play the political scene and to run for office. But women usually raise the family and then come back and run for office. So a la Ann Richards, you know, governor of Texas, or Christy Todd Whitman, governor of New Jersey. Women usually need to put off their politicking until a little later on in life.
Yeah, and that has not changed. It seems pretty constant.
No, the men are getting a little more involved in the homemaking, but we still have a long way to go.
But the late career start in politics for women, is that how you hope you may be able to influence Sweta Patel, who is the Girl Scout of Distinction you'll be working with this year?
Well, I'd like to work with her certainly on how she sees her career developing and to encourage her to get into any type of career that she wants and not think of it as being limited because of the fact that she might be a woman or that she might see herself as having to take some time off to have children, because I think that you can balance it. And it's just very, very important to be able to set what your priorities are And she's a very, very independent, committed young woman who is going to go very far.
I think one of the things that I have found, and I've had the privilege of being in a couple of different professions, is that the women that do network, the women that do form alliances, are the women that excel. Has that been your experience?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the same with men. I mean, we really have a lot to learn from the fact that they have been doing that their whole lives, and that women are now taking a page from their book and doing the networking that they need to do. And you need to do it with both men and women, not just limiting yourself, because you really need to look where you can build the best mentor foundation for yourself.
You know, for so long, things got so competitive, and it was actually, the thing to be is cutthroat and competitive, that I think a lot of big industry leaders lost track of the value of networking or doing for the generation beneath you. And I think this program, like the Women of Distinction, sort of reinforces the idea that we have to do for the next generation, and the Sweta Patels will do for the generation after that. Is that how you feel?
I think you need to set that example, and that we've recognized, I think, that the cutthroat philosophy is not going to build the corporate executive of tomorrow, and we really have to pave the way for them. But we also have to recognize we have to give back to the community, and that it's not just about shareholder interest. It's not the only thing that's going to drive this country. And we, I think, have seen that with some of the examples from Enron, and how that has not bode well for the employees who were very devoted to that company, but what do they have now? I think people are starting to recognize you really need to have a balanced life.
I have to ask you this because it was my experience with Women of Distinction. As you get to know Sweta Patel, do you look back at your own Girl Scouting career and go, oh my God, I was a schlep?
Well, I mean, I have pictures of what I looked like when I was a Girl Scout.
But their badges, their vests are covered with badges, and
Yes.
I got my sash out of mothballs, and there were, 6 badges. And these girls are achieving great things.
Yes, they are, and I love their new uniforms. I mean, if you compared to the uniforms I had 30 some odd years ago, I love the uniforms much more than I liked ours.
Yeah. Well, I warn everybody that when cookie time comes around, these girls are trained in marketing these days, and they are ruthless when it comes to selling a cookie. Well, I congratulate you, Melanie,
you.
and I know that you are going to enjoy this experience on several levels. Certainly an honor for a long career in policy making here in New Jersey, and the difference that you make in young girls' lives as they emulate your success. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us on Conversations. So Girl Scouting is still as relevant today as it was 90 years ago. And in fact, boy, have they come a long way, baby. There's nothing like a good conversation. I hope you join me again. I'm Judith Leblein.